Mozambique, which is also known as the land of sofa, has a storied history. It is not the most popular country in Africa, but it sure does have a lot of uniqueness. Mozambique started off between the 1st and 5th centuries. In this time, Bantu-speaking people migrated from the west and north. They established agriculture communities. Mozambique was a very weak country. This set the stage for the Portuguese to invade the African country and Mozambicans to struggle for independence. This country was not always peaceful due to imperialism. What is imperialism, you might ask? Well, it's a policy of extending a country's power and influence through diplomacy or military force. Portugal sent Vasco da Gama to explore Mozambique in 1498. He was shocked when he reached Mozambique as he saw a country with trade, monetary economy, and wealthy merchants. Mozambique also possessed the sea route to India. The country was very special as it gave countries an extra trade route, more slaves to increase the slave trade, gold, ivory, and much more territory. Vasco da Gama would return back to Mozambique in 1500, but this time with more weapons and ships. His intention this time was to take over the region. The Portuguese wreaked havoc to the people of Mozambique. Portugal forced Mozambique citizens to work for cheap wages. Many of the people during this time in Mozambique were Bantu-speaking people. By the 1530s, the Portuguese gained control of the African country. They set up a lot of trade ports, as Mozambique was a coastline country. Also, the slave trade boomed as Portugal sent a lot of slaves to French sugar plantations. But slave trade is soon abolished in 1869. Many of the Portuguese spread the Portuguese language and the Christianity faith. Eventually, Portuguese became the official language of the country. Also, Christianity faith became one of the top practiced religions in Mozambique. Politically, Portugal tried making a Portuguese government. This resulted in a similar government to the US, which involves 3 branches and a constitution.
A drive for Mozambican independence soon developed, and in 1962, several anti-colonial political groups formed the Front for the Liberation of Mozambique, under the leadership of Eduardo Mondlane. Mozambique still has little resources. Mondlane would fix this by moving into alignment with Cuba and the Soviet Union. Mondlane helped initiate an armed campaign against Portuguese colonial rule in September 1964. After 10 years of sporadic warfare and Portugal's return to democracy, Frelimo took control of the capital city of Maputo. In April 1974, within a year, almost all Portuguese colonies had departed. Mozambique became independent on June 25, 1975. Frelimo then banned private land ownership, nationalized all industries, and put in place educational and health reforms. In 1994, Mozambique held national elections, which were accepted by most parties as free and fair. Frelimo won under Joaquim Chissano. By the mid-1990s, Frelimo, which had cast aside its earlier Marxist leanings, had made progress on the economic front by introducing free market mechanisms, cutting inflation, and stabilizing the currency. Before imperial power, Mozambique's culture was defined as having many different languages. After imperialism, Portuguese turned into the official language of Mozambique. Mozambique had a variety of cultures. Being a coastal country of Africa, many Indian, European, and a mixed-race populations came to Mozambique in the 20th century, but because of the Civil War, many fled the nation. However, many cultures started coming back in the late 1900s. Mozambique unfortunately remained as one of the poorest in the world. Mozambique is full with rich and extensive natural resources. The country's economy is based largely on agriculture, but industry, mainly food and beverages, chemical manufacturing, aluminum, and petroleum production is growing. The country's tourism is also growing. South Africa is Mozambique's main trading partner and source of foreign direct investment. Portugal, Brazil, Spain, and Belgium are also among the country's most important economic partners. Since 2001, Mozambique's annual average GDP growth has been among the world's highest. However, the country ranks among the lowest in human development, measures of inequality, and average life expectancy. Many of the influences of Portugal's rule have stayed intact. For instance, the only official language of Mozambique is Portuguese, and the largest religion is Christianity. The flag of Mozambique was adopted on May 1, 1983. Proposals for a new non-partisan flag have been introduced. Green stands for the riches of the land. The white stripes signify peace. Black represents the African continent. Yellow symbolizes the country's minerals, and red represents the struggle for independence. The rifle stands for defense and vigilance. The open book symbolizes the importance of education. The hoe represents the country's agriculture, and the star symbolizes Marxism and internationalism. Today, Mozambique faces many issues involving terrorism and corruption. Its economy has been shaken by a number of corruption scandals. The economy has been growing rapidly recently. Eventually, Mozambique will overcome its poor money management as its economy keeps growing.